the oarfish has been appearing, and I love it. The oarfish is always something that comes up, and people are like, "Uh-oh, it's here." That means it's the end times. But it always seems to show up. Lately, the past few years, the oarfish is always in the news, and the world is just still here. But now that it's here, look at this thing. Doomsday fish.
So I'm going to run this video really quick because I just want to give you guys kind of like a scope of how big this thing is. This is them unwrapping this thing. They have it folded in half.
This is the Annabelle of the ocean. Shouldn't be messing with this thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're not supposed to touch it.
Don't touch this thing. You're done. It's like opening up a mummy's tomb. Don't touch the oarfish.
Look at this thing.
And then they made sushi. And they're just laughing away. That looks fake. But all things from the deep sea look fake to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't mind, real quick, before we get into Doomsday Fish, can you go just find a video of the anglerfish?
The anglerfish, yeah.
You've seen this before?
I have.
Yeah, I love looking at this thing because I'm like, who invented this and sank it to the bottom of the ocean? Like, this was made in a lab. How does this thing exist for real?
The skeletons of it are probably some of the more crazier things.
Oh, yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen.
we should look at that too. And I promise we'll double back to the Doomsday Fish, but anytime we're in the deep sea, I think it's worth visiting the anglerfish.
Let me see if I can find a decent picture of this thing here. We got National Geographic on one.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm going to pop this on here really quick because this thing is, well, it's ugly, for lack of a better description.
And it's smaller than people think, right? Like,
yeah, but this is, so I always get these confused if it's the angler or the cuttlefish.
Right.
But this guy clearly has that antenna that just
the light bulb.
Puts out the pulses and traps its prey, and then it just boom, it kills you with its crazy 7-inch long teeth.
These are the real aliens, people. This is an alien. This thing it can't be from Earth. Like, what is that? That's from hell.
It
this
definitely
is
looks
a demon
hellish.
From hell. Is that a real picture? The one to the bottom right with the very long. Yeah,
this guy here.
Yeah, is that real? That's insane.
It's hard to tell anymore.
Are any of these real? Yeah, I love these things. But the deep sea is crazy, and there's a lot of lore with the oarfish. People say that, I think it's Japanese lore, when they see it emerge from the depths of the ocean, it's like a harbinger of doom. And then people are like, uh-oh, some like a prophecy of some apocalypse. But it's been the oarfish has been in the news a lot. And people have been saying it feels like the end times. Now, you know what? They do have a point. But like something we've been saying a few times in the past few shows, the world is always ending. Mm-hmm. Like everyone always thinks they're the ones who are going to inherit the end of the world. But there's something about the oarfish. Like that oarfish, I don't know how long that one was. That was probably like 30 feet-ish. They get up to 56 feet. That's huge.
It's way too big.
I think if it stood up, it's taller than a giraffe.
Yeah. I was going to say 56 is longer than a semi-truck.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's amazing. But it was just making me think about all these people who, it's almost like they want to manufacture the end times. At least maybe the people writing the articles, because it's kind of like the way we were looking at the Annabelle articles earlier about the haunted doll that was allegedly starting fires and whatnot. It's almost like they want the end times. They're like, you know what?
No, I was going to say, it does kind of almost seem like they're trying.
We need it.
They want to put energy towards bringing this about. And I don't know if it's just some kind of crazy fixation about I get to live through the end of days, or...
I think it's all a mixture of everything. Because it goes back to the fear economy I was saying with the Annabelle stuff, where it just sells. Fear sells like sex sells. So they've always known fear sells. So it's great for headlines. Oh, there's a haunted demonic doll that is, wreaking havoc. There's a doomsday harbinger fish that keeps emerging from the ocean, and people click on it, and we're talking about it, and it resonates with people. I think because in these days, right now, it does feel like particularly insane after the last 4 or 5 years that we went through. Like we saw the world shut down. It did feel apocalyptic. So I totally understand it. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's been a lot of predictions. There was I forget her name, someone from Bulgaria. There was a prophet who died in the mid 90s, and she predicted that the world was ending in 2025. But I also feel like with people like that, sometimes they just wrote out every type of prediction for every date, and they just
It's like
pick and
buying a
choose.
lottery ticket.
Yeah, just do all the numbers.
I hope my ticket comes in.
Yeah. But they say she predicted 9/11, you know, but so did Alex Jones.
I was gonna say I think a few people did. It just wasn't anybody that was in power to do anything about it, unfortunately.
That's actually a story I want to go to a deeper dive at some point, but I'll mention it now on the fly. There was a guy who was warning about 9/11 happening. Very interesting story. And he got like taken out by like a suicide bomb beforehand. Very weird story. It was coming up recently. I saw because there was a lady in an airport. This video is viral, but it could be one of those fake videos too. You never know. But she was saying something was about to happen, and it was like such an ominous video. Like, okay, maybe it's fake, or maybe this lady really does know something, kind of like the guy I was mentioning, who they took out. I think it was a bomb and a camera. But let's look at, if you want to pull up that thing I sent with the Doomsday predictions, because there's some good ones on there.
Yeah,
there's some real
10
real good
failed
ones.
Doomsday predictions.
Yep, so far.
All right, yeah, let's
because the economy of Doom is so good, and we're like in the height of it again right now. It's like Doom is so in right now. It's so hot. Everyone's selling Doom. You know, I've been accused of being a catastrophist before for all the things I say when it comes to the AI stuff, and yeah, I think it has something to do with we all inherit this insane unknown world, and everything feels like the end times. And as you age, as you're blessed enough to age, you're seeing the world change rapidly, and it's relative. Our world is obviously changing rapidly right now with everything going on, but it felt that way, throughout the last 100 years. One of my favorite quotes from Mad Men is when the secretary, this old lady, she dies at her desk at the top of a skyscraper. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
Yeah, it was great. Ida Blankenship was the secretary, and she was like one of the main character's secretaries. So she's dead at her desk, and she was like 100 years old or something. And the main character goes, Ida Blankenship was born in the back of a barn in like 1900, let's say, and she died on the 50th floor of a skyscraper. She was an astronaut. Love that line.
Man.
Love that line. It was a really well-written show. But anyway, 10 failed doomsday predictions. Of course, we got the 2012 Maya apocalypse, how do we know it failed? What if we're in the apocalypse?
What if we're all
now?
dead?
These people, there are people who definitely think that. Like, I think that this did come to fruition. And things did get weird. But they always get weird. But for those who don't remember or are too young, December 21st, 2012 marked the end of the first great cycle of the Maya long count calendar. Many misinterpreted this to mean an absolute end to the calendar, which tracked time continuously from a date 5,125 years earlier, and doomsday predictions emerged. End of the world scenarios included the Earth colliding with an imaginary planet called Nibiru, which does come up in a lot of the stories we talk about. Giant solar flares. Hey,
we got that going on.
Hey,
we're in the middle of a 3-day solar storm or something right now. Actually,
that's what they say. But that could be more of that fear economy. A planetary alignment that would cause massive tidal catastrophes and a realignment of Earth's axis. All those things are actually in the news right now.
Yeah, the Earth has been going off of its regular.
That's what they say.
Rotation.
Yep. There's people talking about the pole shifts. All these things, and I'm not really too invested in all that stuff, but I listen to them talk about it, and I think anything's possible.
But still, yeah, it's fascinating. It's hard to ignore it, especially when the Earth hasn't really shifted its rotations in God knows how many years.
Right.
Everything's been basically on the meter until all of a sudden now it's just kind of like deviate.
And that's for those who believe in a globe model, because it could be a pear shape, as I might believe. Also, I do think if anything's really messing with the axis and stuff. My feelings is that it's CERN, the Large Hadron Collider. I think the more we keep smashing particles at the speed of light beneath the Earth's surface. Do you remember this?
I do. I actually used to work at Fermilab.
No way.
Way back in the day when I got out of
high school. They got a lot of bison out there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I used to hang out with them on my lunch break. It was pretty cool.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, they had this massive river that ran over the collider to keep it cool.
Oh, I want to go there so bad.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, we weren't really allowed to go downstairs, but you know, it was pretty intense to see. You would go up to the top of the high rise, and
Wow.
you could see the entire ring from up there. You could basically see all the way to the city of Chicago. This is out in Batavia.
Wow.
So a good 30, 40 miles, you can see clear out to the city, which is really cool.
That's wild.
But yeah, then they were starting to get defunded because they were building this other one. It's like a 50-mile ring or something.
The one in the North Dakota?
No, this was overseas somewhere. I can't remember where.
Because we have CERN overseas.
It might have been CERN. I'm not sure.
I think they're building a giant one beneath North Dakota or something like that. I just maybe we shouldn't smash particles. The lawsuit was when they started CERN in 2008-ish. There were these scientists who were like, okay, you can't do it because you're going to create a black hole that will swallow Earth. And they had this whole thing called the sphere of strangeness that we would become, which that feels right to me. That's what we're in right now. That could be the alternate title to the show, honestly. And they lost the lawsuit, obviously. But everyone agreed on both sides of that lawsuit that smashing particles together at nearly the speed of light creates microscopic black holes that do fall to the center of Earth. But then it came down to whether or not you believe those black holes would amass and turn into something that swallows Earth or just evaporate completely. So who knows? We might be in a black hole right now. Let's just run through some of these real quick and we can get back to some callers.
Cool.
Harold Camping, this is the one I don't know. Among the most prolific modern predictors of end times, Harold Camping has publicly predicted the end of the world as many as 12 times, basis interpretations of biblical numerology. In 1992, he published a book ominously titled 1994? 1994? I love that has a question mark in it, which predicted the end of the world sometime around that year. Perhaps his most high-profile prediction was for May 21st, 2011, a date that he calculated to be exactly 7,000 years after the biblical flood. All right, fair enough. All right, let's see what's next. True Way, that's okay. Oh, Haley's Comet. All right, that's a good one. We can go to Millerism. So the Millerism one, this is like they're believing they're going to be raptured, I think, right? Religious leader William Miller began preaching in 1831 that the end of the world as we know it would occur with the second coming of Jesus Christ in 1843. He attracted as many as 100,000 followers who believed that they would be carried off to heaven when the date arrived. It didn't happen. And this is the kind of thing with Millerism and other types of religious, like Christian sects that believe the rapture is going to happen. People who just sell off all their stuff and they think this is going on. And then
they just pace around their house like Quentin Tarantino on like a Sunday and they're just standing in the corner.
It doesn't happen. It does that does a disservice to religion when that happens. Listening to these people. Who is Joanna Southcott? This is one I don't know.
I waited all Tuesday and dear Jesus did not come.
Come on now. All right, what's number 5 here? Beginning
Joanna Southcott.
I don't know this one either. Beginning when she was 42 years old, Joanna Southcott reported hearing voices that predicted future events, including the crop failures and famines of 1799 and 1800. She began publishing her own books and eventually developed a following of as many as 100,000 followers. Another 100,000. Good for these people.
I wonder if it was the same 100,000.
Yeah, they needed. Like, you know what?
This
that
one failed.
Sucked,
Let's go to the next one.
This one sounds right this time, guys.
I'm with it.
She wrote a book. In 1813, she announced that in the following year, the world would give birth to the second Messiah, whose arrival would signal the last days of the earth. Despite being 64 years old and, as she told her doctors, a virgin, she died before a baby could be born. Damn, that's a terribly sad last sentence.
4 years of celibacy. Ouch.
Man. Yep, that's why she's hearing voices. Okay, this is why I really want to read this article.
Here we go.
The Prophet Hen of Leeds.
Yes.
The Prophet Hen of Leeds. Could also been entitled to this episode. In 1806, a domesticated hen in Leeds, England, appeared to lay eggs inscribed with the message, "Christ is coming." Great numbers of people reportedly visited the hen and began to despair of the coming judgment day. I just love, I hope there's paintings of that somewhere, of people despairing of the apocalypse over the hen, the prophet hen of Leeds. It was soon discovered, however, that the eggs were not in fact prophetic messages, but the work of their owner, who had been writing on the eggs in corrosive ink and reinserting them into the poor hen's body.
That's a real dick move.
Horrible. Horrible. Just horrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
He should be fined like the Brazilian ladies with the fake babies.
They should take him somewhere and shove eggs up him.
There you
is
go.
what they should do.
That's
an
eye for an eye,
Like, no.
egg for an egg.
Yeah, we're gonna write stuff on eggs and shove them up your ass. That's what's gonna happen to you, buddy.
The Great Fire of London. Because the Bible calls 666 the number of the beast, many Christians in 17th century Europe feared the end of the world in the year 1666. The Great London Fire, which lasted from September 2nd to September 5th of that year, destroyed much of the city, including 87 parish churches and about 13,000 houses. Many saw it as a fulfillment of the end of the world prophecy. All right, let's just get through these last two then.
Contained entirely in London, though.
Yeah. I mean, London, they had it coming. The Great Flood. Johannes Stoffler, a respected German mathematician and astrologer, predicted that a great flood would cover the world on February 25th, 1524, when all of the known planets would be in alignment under Pisces, a water sign. Hundreds of pamphlets announcing the coming flood were issued and set in motion a general panic. Count von Igelheim, great name, a German nobleman, went so far as to build a 3-story ark. Sick. Though there was light rain on the day of the predicted flood, no actual flooding materialized. So this is good. This is the doom economy.
Noah 2.0.
In full effect, right? This is what's up. And what do we have at number 1?
Montanism.
Okay, Montanism, a 2nd century schismatic movement of Christianity, began in Phrygia of modern Turkey. I'm horrible at reading these names. I am sorry. Based on the visions of Montanus, who claimed to speak under the influence of the Spirit. Montanists believe the second coming of Christ to be imminent. Many Christian communities were almost abandoned when believers left their homes and migrated to a plain between the two villages of Pepuza and Timian in Phrygia. I don't know how I got through that one.
Pepuza and Timonian in Phrygia.
They claimed the heavenly Jerusalem would descend to earth. There's a great scene in the show The Leftovers of Millerites going to their roofs and waiting for the rapture to come. It's amazing, amazing.